Collaboration is my bread and butter. I love collaborating. I have sought out other visual artists to collaborate with, but I'll be honest, visual artists are not the most natural collaborators. It takes a lot of flexibility. It takes a lot of letting go of ego.
Elizabeth is a painter and I am a filmmaker, and we thought, what if we combined our creative forces to make something new? Now, as a filmmaker, I'm used to working with large groups of people, but I was really curious what it would be like for us to kind of explore these topics together.
But when I get an opportunity to do something different with art, I'm always going to say yes.
We're gonna kind of build our own table because people haven't invited us, you know?
I like that a lot. I really like the way you said that, and I like that image. We have to make our own table. We have to say, look, our art is worthwhile. We put our soul into our art, and you should like our art. And even if you don't like our art, we're going to continue to make our art because we have to, because we're artists. And that's what artists do. They create art.
When I first started creating visual art, I was like taking this very free attitude with it. Like, I don't have any pressure on me because, you know, this is not what I went to school for. I have a master's degree in music, and I love music, but music is something that really stresses me out because I spent so much time, I spent so much effort really learning how to become a professional classical musician. And so then when I shifted my focus over to art, at the very beginning, from the get-go, I told myself that if I was going to create art, I wanted to do it with a greater sense of freedom. I'm just gonna keep creating, and really focused on it as just part of my recovery. But then it's just like once I started selling even just a little bit, I was like, now I have to create for the purpose of selling, and I have to create what my agent wants to sell. And I really have to like use these tools to not have that affect me. Or be like, okay, well, I really want to make some art right now, but then I'm like, oh, well, what colors should I use or that are going to sell well, or what process should I use that'll maximize the potential to catch the eye of a client? And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever thought.
Well, and when you start creating like that, it doesn't come out as good.
No, you achieve the opposite result. Like, I do way better when I'm like, I'm feeling a feeling, art, and then it's like, ba-da.
You know, growing up, I was always a really expressive kid and always really sensitive. And it was good. I was raised, you know, mostly by my mom, single mother. She was always really supportive if I wanted to be in acting or if I wanted to do music or painting. And Elizabeth has brought it up to me that she wonders why I feel like I need to be seen. And, you know, I was given a lot of attention by my mom, but I was also raised, you know, in an alcoholic household, and I think that has affected me. And over the last several years, one way that I've been able to manage kind of this need for attention is that I create TV shows, you know? I write and direct and act in TV shows. And that's really given me an outlet to healthily manage this. It's been a way that I've been able to channel this kind of need and channel this energy.
So I'm like so stir crazy, and I call up Matt, or probably text him. I mean, let's be real. So I text Matt and I was like, what are you doing? Let's go for a walk, maybe catch some, do some filming, just get out of the house. And we started taking a stroll in the neighborhood around my house, and we're walking by this apartment complex, and all of a sudden Matt says,
So this is the apartment that I lived in when I was like 20 years old, moved to Cap Hill, and this is also the same place where my mom apparently veered off of 13th, crashed her car into the corner because it didn't have brakes.
nice.
And to me, this place has a really like special place in my heart, because this was before, unbeknownst to me, like my life was gonna change, because my first boyfriend passed away while I was living here. And I remember I was in the front room chilling, minding my business, and then I noticed a friend of mine in the window, and he like waved to me, and I gave him like this big smile and was like, hey, what's up, Eric, what's up? And he gave me this look where he was like, here, do you want to hold it while
Yeah, definitely.
He gave me this look that was like, you didn't hear? And then I came and I met him out in the courtyard, and I was like, hey, what's up, what are you doing here, man? He was like, you didn't hear? And I was just like, what happened? And he was like, Travis is in the hospital. And we got into a car and went to Denver Health, and then he died like later that night. And after that, I quit college, I moved to New York, and then drinking became a pretty big part of my life. And I didn't know that would be, first meeting him was a big thing because I was able to come out of the closet.
Right.
And then him passing away was a big thing because it made me like so more sensitive to the world, and like it basically brought like death really early to me. It took a long time for me to understand, to just like what a great chance it was to like meet him when he was in this world. And for real, just getting taught about death at an early age was like, it basically referenced everything.
It was really hard for me to hear that, and it was like, I'm glad that we were walking. Like, I felt so much empathy for everything that he said. There's a dual loss that happens when you lose a relationship and then that person dies, because you've lost the relationship, but that you know that, okay, they're gonna find someone else that's better for them, and you're gonna find someone else that's better for you, and then you get to move on, and they are happy, and then you're happy, and everything goes on, and that's how it's supposed to go. But if your trajectory goes on and their trajectory just stops, it kind of interrupts the natural healing. And I could feel that acutely when Matt was telling his story. And we just kept walking, and we found this empty, desolate, gray parking lot, and it is perfect for how we're feeling. And we just stand there, and we just feel into our feelings, and we feel into our past, and we experience our past, and we experience our trauma. And it's this weird moment. I've experienced this only a few times in my life, where there's this sort of perfect overlapping and dovetailing of life and art, and life and art, and life and art, and they're just folding beautifully on top of each other. And that is one of those moments where it's just perfectly lining up. It's, I don't know. It was a moment, and it was art, and it was reality. And yeah.
Yeah. And to be honest, it's still something I'm working through, and I just started going to therapy, and it's like been that long of not dealing with it. And it's kind of been a big reference of why I also haven't been able to really be in a relationship, It's just like after that, it was hard to be comfortable with people again.
Yeah. It's trauma.
Nice little divot,
Huh?
Nice little divot into
Yeah.
sad personal life.
Well.
But that's funny. I didn't even want to offer that up to the story, that there was a deeper wound of why I don't. Because I kind of mask it and say that I work a lot, which I do, but it's not till recently that I was like, I think that first loss actually has a lot more to me not dating than anything else,
Yeah. So, okay, when I was in Istanbul, a guy I went to Istanbul with, he kind of had this thing. He was like, you do not have to be a tortured artist. You don't have to be tortured to be an artist. And like, I've had therapists telling me that you don't have to be tortured to be an artist. Remove the word tortured and artist from, stop having them so stuck together. Mm-hmm. And I get where that comes from. I get where that idea comes from. But at the same time, I kind of think that all artists at least have some sort of primary damage. Mm-hmm. And, I think whatever that is, whatever that primary damage is, I think it's like some sort of like, who are we making art to, whose attention are we trying to get? Like, we're all trying to get someone's attention, whether it be, like, I'm pretty aware now at this point, after like all the therapy I've been through, after all the soul searching and meditation and all that I've done, I know whose attention I'm trying to get that I'm never going to get. And I wanted to ask you, whose attention are you trying to get with your art? Like, who are you making it for? Because I feel like we're all making our art to try to get someone's attention. It's all some kind of display. So really, who hurt you, Matt? Who hurt you? Is my question.
Well, I didn't know you'd talk about this.
Well, and we don't have to talk about it now. I did kind of spring that on you. I mean, it's like a big question.
No, it is a big question, and I'm not willing to... or I should rephrase that.
No, that's
I'm not afraid.
Straight.
I'm not afraid of exploring it now.
You're like, I don't want to tell
Because
you.
let me tell you why I'm not afraid. Is because
I'm not afraid.
if we did plan like, hey, Thursday we're going to talk about your primary injury, then I would be able to craft a story in time,
no.
right? That would be like, okay, maybe we can get away. But in like keeping with, let's just go with it and see like where this goes. I mean, talking about Travis back there.
See, I got you when you were vulnerable.
Yep, you got me.
I was like, ha ha ha.
But why shouldn't we be vulnerable? I almost said vulnerable.
I love it.
Why are we vulnerable?
I got you.
I just have Freudian slips coming out left and right.
I'm not willing to talk about this. I don't want to be vulnerable right now.
Vulnerable. You get out of here.